Hey everyone, what is up? This is Mango who rides with chicken. I want to show off my sick new paladin build in Project Diablo. I call this build the Stoned Dreamer. It's based off the Dreamadin build with some modifications based on some of the rune words they spiced up in the mod. I just want to show you the gear first. Actually, before we get to that, the basic idea of the build is to hit really fast with a ton of elemental damage. However, the defense is also super high, so I can tank really well. So it gives me a nice balance of, well, a nice combination of extremely high damage and extremely good tankiness. The basic gear to start off with, quite obviously, Double Dream. Obviously, if you're Druidin, this is the core part of the build. The other gear surrounding it, Tear Haunch just for the bonus to the auras. Seraph's Hymn for the same reason. This is fairly important. Dracul's Grasp and Nosferatu's Coil for the IAS, and also the Life Leech. You can honestly use any belt and gloves that have IAS, so that leaves you with quite a few options. Because they also have Life Leech, I favor these two. The best possible belt would be String of Ears with an IAS corruption, but that's pretty rare and pretty expensive. Nos Coil is, pretty good and cheap, so that's what I'm using right now. In terms of rings, I've got a Nagel and a Ravenfrost. Ravenfrost CBF, you need it if you don't have a corruption that's giving you it. And this build does suffer an MF, so a Nagel ring helps a lot there. The two kind of interesting items that kind of bring this build to a whole new level are the rune word Destruction. So this is a rune word that's kind of ignored in classic Diablo 2 and LOD because it's just, not that good. They buffed it up a nice bit in Diablo, and combined with some of the bonuses this build has, it ends up being a pretty sweet rune word. And the armor, which I think is even more important, is the rune word Stone. This is why I called this build the Stoned Dreamer. Stone is another rune word that was, pretty rarely used in classic LOD. It's got a huge bonus to defense, but in classic LOD, not much else. They buffed it in the mod by giving it a +1 to all skills and an indestructible mod. So now you can use it on Eth armors. So that instantly gives you a 50% defense advantage over what it had before, plus +1 to all skills, which is pretty important for virtually every character. On Switch, it's not too important, but I'm rocking Doom for the Holy Freeze Ore and other bonuses, and another Dream Shield. And I'll show you why that's kind of a good setup to have on Switch later. In terms of skills, the important skills to get are the auras that synergize with your Holy Shock. So those are the first three you want to focus on. So that's Resist Lightning, Salvation, and Blessed Aim. So you want to max these 3 skills. After that, the next thing you want to really max is Holy Shield, because this is going to help you get your defense really high. And you can see with Holy Shield, I'm rocking 21k defense. And when my Merc pops Defiance, it goes up to over 30k. Besides that, you want at least 1 point in Zeal. You don't need much more, to be honest. Not going to make a huge difference. I pumped it a bit more just to, it helps with the life leech a bit. But you really just need 1. And you want to make sure you've got Charge, which you'll have already from Holy Shield, and Joust. For those of you who don't know, Joust is a really cool skill they added for the Paladin that lets you TP to enemies and hit them. Besides that, you kind of have flexibility with what you want to do with the skill points. What I did was I put a few points in to get Redemption to clean up bodies. Honestly, you can do whatever you want with the extra points. You could pump Holy Shield, you could pump Zeal. Doesn't make a huge difference. It's not going to make a big difference to your build. Maybe you want to pump Smite. Maybe if you want to see if you can pull off a Smite at the same time. I don't know. There's quite a few points left over to play with at the end after the core ones are allotted. So now I want to show you guys basically the build in action. It's a really kind of fun build. So we'll just run a tier 2 map because that's actually the best one for the build. The build can run any and all maps. Tier 2 is the fastest one to clear. Tier 2 is the safest. Tier 1 is the safest. Tier 3 ain't bad either. But Tier 2 is definitely the most rewarding one. So typically on my main, I'm going to run Resist Lightning for the damage bonus to Dream and Lightning as well. And on Switch, I run Salvation to give more resist because I don't have a Pally Shield for my second Dream. And also because the cold damage gets a bonus from Salvation, which is it's good for dealing with the lightning moves. So as you can see, I'm killing pretty fast, and I'm not taking much damage. You want to make good use of Joust, and I'll show you how that's done. Basically, you see those range enemies right now. They're not much of a threat to me, but you see, or like right now with a Might Aura, they can become more of a threat. And Joust lets you deal with those groups that are hitting you from afar fast, right? So you can imagine if they were range, right? I could pop over, kill them fast. If my Merc's in trouble, I can pop over and save them. A lot of nice things with that skill. Pretty good. It also just makes it a lot of fun. Move around. Overall, pretty sweet. Oh, 44R Royal Shield. Maybe I'll make my second Dream of that. Okay, I'll go back to that later. I don't want to video. And Catcher, I'm going to ignore that. That's just a regular form. Not bad for Merc, not good for much else. You can see, let's get right into the thick of it. It's not weird. Alright, well, it's going along fine. So you guys can see, killing things pretty fast with this build. One demo boss later, which I'll do another video. I'm too lazy to edit, so. As you can see, I'm running Infinity on my Merc. You don't really even need Infinity. The build can kill pretty much everything. You do a lot of different kinds of damage with this, especially when you do want Switch. Infinity obviously makes things a lot faster, and basically you almost never have to switch, especially on tier 2 maps. There's very few lightning hits. Oh, lightning right there. That's very soon. The nice thing about Doom, besides what I described to you, is that Doom also, the Holy Freeze aura also slows down enemy attackers. So basically, they're hitting you at half the speed they normally would. So, it's really good for surviving. It's a really good option for survivability. Most cases, you're not going to need it. Also doesn't actually help with bosses. Primes are to Holy Freeze. But generally quite good for bombs and whatnot. Melt as they come to you. These range ones over here. We got lightning beam here. Sure. So you can see even the unbroken immunities, physical lightning doesn't really matter. You can deal with them pretty easily with a simple switch. And again, Doom's not the only thing you need use. I think it's the best. Just explain a bit more why that's the case. Holy Freeze and Holy Shock share a lot of synergies. So the skills you have synergizing with Holy Shock are also going to synergize with Holy Freeze. So it's a bit of a 2-for-1 special if you use Doom. Again, also just the defensive bonuses in Holy Shock are pretty valuable. Enemies that will give you problems with this build, honestly not many. You've probably already seen the worst ones are probably those Pindleskin type enemies, the guys who charge, just because they do a lot of damage when you fail to block, and occasionally, you'll get unlucky a couple hits in a row, even though you have such high defense, and your health drops pretty fast. Besides that, succubuses still aren't great. It's still more manageable with this build than with most builds. Especially with Joust, but still kind of annoying. Obviously, Stygian Dolls, still a bit of a problem. Can deal with them in most cases, but on super high density maps, those can actually kill me. Besides that, most enemies would go down pretty easily. I haven't tried Ubers yet. Definitely, I tried mini Ubers with this exact setup, doesn't work very well. I switch over to Last Wish, which is obviously very expensive, and that does work, but obviously not a great build. Too much elemental damage.